Thank you, Sibyl, for the nice introduction. So, yeah, I'm very glad to see you all here for this webinar, and I would like you to introduce the future of AI-generated content. As we know, and as we heard for the last couple of months, it has become a very hot topic. Everyone is talking about ChatGPT-4 and other tools that can really show how like AI can change our life. Sorry. So I would like to do I will do a quick introduction of what is AI and like how we can like what is the AI in the market and what are the different type of AI we can use. Today we are really living in an exciting moment where actually AI and like new innovation, new startup is coming every day, and where it's exploding. Like maybe in the end of this presentation, ChatGPT-5 would be already released on, or other tremendous innovation will be there. So we can compare this, in my opinion, to internet when it's really like booming in 95, where before that no one was talking about it, or only some company and so on, and then it came to the home of everyone, and we start to using it, and it kind of like we can see some similarity between AI and internet. When we are talking about AI, I will say in general there's two types of AI. There's artificial general intelligence, and also an AI, which is artificial narrow intelligence. And I would like to show you some movies that everyone knows, which is like, for example, Terminator, where actually Skynet is it's an AI can control everything. It's not just about doing a specific task, but it's like the closest to things to human being, and the same action as a human being. But don't worry, like a Terminator is not going to happen soon, because now we are more into an AI, which is artificial narrow intelligence. Another example that you might know, it's for example, HAL 9000 from Space Odyssey, which is also the same in the movie. You can tell about his emotion, about his fear and happiness and so on. But if we are talking about an AI, this is, for example, a great movie like Her, where Samantha, which is kind of like Alexa, but with the possibility of talking to the user and so on. So on this case, the only task that the AI can do is only about talking and respond to the user, but they cannot do anything else than that. Another good example would be Wall-E with Otto, which is the name of the AI, where actually Wall-E is only able to do one thing, is collecting trash and recycle them, nothing else. In terms of AI generated content, we can see that is impact, I would say, 5 different fields, which is one is a text, where you can use it for the blog or the tweets. You can have also for the image with a digital art, logo, retouching photo, speech with music and so on, coding, where you can automate it some coding and simplify the task, or video, where you can do some simple edit, or like much more complex animation, or even deep fake. And probably it's not years yet, but soon we'll be able also probably to have some tools that can work on user experience and user interface as well. Here, there's a kind of like a mapping of the startup worldwide that are working on AI and booming today. As you can see, you have a lot. You have a tremendous amount of startups that are coming every day. But I would like just to not focus on on all the startups, but just a couple of them, which is like, for example, ChatGPT that everyone knows, Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, and we'll talk much more longer later about Midjourney, and like some video players such as Runaway or Synthesia, coding like GitHub, which is the main, I would say, main platform for coders today, and speech that can help you to generate some pitch based on the script that you provide. So indeed, for the last couple of months, we have been a lot talking about startup from overseas, but we need to also to remind ourselves that in China, there's a lot of startups that are working as well on AI. They might not be that advanced in the sense of, like, for example, ChatGPT and so on, but they are for sure, they are working on it, and soon they will be able to achieve the same level. And one thing that's happening today, it's more like you have a lot of startups working directly for clients, but it's not directly access to the public. So that's why we don't know that much. But I can tell you that, for example, Baidu that create their own AI language, which is only working already today with Ctrip or Tuna. So if we are talking about AI generated content specifically for image, I would like to focus today on Midjourney. Why this one is because I did kind of like a benchmark of a lot of different players, such as DALL-E, which was the first one in the market, and you have also Stable Diffusion. You have a new one from Adobe called Firefly, and you have a tremendous amount of diverse tools in the same, can do more or less the same thing. But by comparing them for the same input, I realized that actually Midjourney is the one that can provide you the best result, and which is the most closest one that you can use on daily life, and the one that you can use as well as a designer to play with it. So how it's work on Midjourney? So it's pretty simple actually. So you just have a field where you can input your description. So I will say you have two types of prompt. You have the simple one where it's just about description of the image, of what you imagine. And then you have another type, which is a bit more complex, which is the one that you can see on the screen, where you can add image plus some description and also some parameters. The big advantage, so for the image, actually, it will take some inspiration. It will gather this image and translate it into a kind of like a style that will apply to your description. And the parameter will help actually to define the ratio, the quality of the image, the version that you want to use, and so on. So now let's go through together like an example of from a concept how to arrive to an image that we wanted to have. I didn't want today to show you a demo because even Midjourney and all the other tools are really helpful to fasten the process, and it fastens a lot. It's not that fast. It's not like you cannot really have wanted results in only 1 or 2 minutes. It will need to take maybe 1 hour or something like that. So I will show you only a couple of steps that I did to arrive to a result that I was happy with. So, so basically the concept will be, I want to create a visual with an AI robot in the book library. So when we see that, we can kind of like already imagine in our brain, oh, that's really easy to do. But the AI don't also work exactly the same way as how we are thinking ourselves. So here I designed the prompt. So at the Saint-Geneviève Library in Paris, France, an AI student sit on the wooden chair studying some books about Nietzsche and nihilism. And then you have the parameter, like the type of camera and the parameters. So based on that, I was expecting indeed to have a kind of like AI robot in the library. But here, what's as a result of it? So the result is, it's not exactly what I was expecting. I was not expecting a human, and in there, it's what I have. And I have like a young girl, which is like a student, but more like a teenager. And but then the rest of it, it's pretty what I was expecting in the sense of it's in the library and so on, and look like this person is studying. So now I changed. I was saying, okay, maybe the issue is the student. So let's delete the student and to see the result. And then I was not expecting that as well. I just have a chair with some book around and so on. We still are in type of library, but without any human being and any robot, which is the, kind of like the issues that I have here. And I try another example where I add the terms humanoid, because AI humanoid is something like close to human, but anyway. And I have as a result a skeleton that was not expecting as well. And then I did another twist that started to bring me to, I would say, something more closer to what I was expecting in terms of result, which is this one. A humanoid robot looked like Scarlett Johansson. Why is this? Because I was thinking of a movie called Ghost in the Shell, where she's actually a humanoid robot. So that's why I was thinking about that. So here we are much more closer to what I was expecting, but not exactly, because it's not reading, it's red, and so on. I don't like it too much. So after more than 100 iteration, and it took me around like 2 hours or something like that, I got some result that was pretty satisfied for me, and that I wanted to share with you. And so basically, as you see here, like we have like 4 examples of AI robot reading a book in a library. It's maybe not exactly the right library, but as this might be not that the most important. But as you can see, those images are extremely close to the reality, and you can almost feel that it's already an image that can be into a movie and so on. One thing I wanted to mention with the usage of Midjourney, of other actually, and there's one thing that we need to consider when we create an image is those AI tools are biased because they are based on images that are on internet, and the image on internet by default are kind of like based on stereotype. And you have, for example, this website where you can compare 2 different AI models like Stable Diffusion and DALL-E as an example, but you can try other one. And this one is just specific about the job and also the feeling of this person. And as you can see, I put, for example, ambitious and CEO, sorry. And on both cases, the result is to have a white male between 30 to 45 years old, basically wearing a suit, which is not exactly representing the reality, because they don't really care about the ethnicity, or they don't really care about also the sex as well. It is no woman, and there's much more women that 0% here that are CEO, for example. So the thing is, it's really important to, when we create it, to not encourage as well a bias that can misleading the public when we use with this tool. So when I see the AI, I kind of like also do a comparison with. For me, it's kind of like a revolution because I didn't see any such a big change in the design field for since I started my career actually 12 years ago. So, and I really feel that this one can really change a lot of things, the way of working, our process, the way of communicating as well, and so on. So I really consider this as kind of like design revolution. I'm too young for that, but when Photoshop arrived, before that, the designer was working differently, and I even don't know. Like I never actually practiced what was designer process and so on to realize a key visual before like a laptop. So actually, how it was working is it was kind of like everything was by hand in a way where actually you need just to use paper, pen, tape, scissor, cut some element, like print it and play around and so on to be able to create your visual and try and so on. So actually, the Photoshop really help at that stage to step up and to be much more modernized. And now what we can see is the AI can also help in the same way as Photoshop was helping like 30 years ago. It can really help to create a new type of content, create a new type of visual and so on, and also help into the design process. So when my first impression, when I see the AI, I was like, wow, that's great. That's a pretty amazing tool. And then I have a second feeling was much more about, does this will replace my work? Does this will put me in without employment in the next 5 years? And then I stepped back a bit and I realized that actually it's not, because by like playing around and so on, I really understand that it's really helpful, but it will commoditize part of our job, some process. But in any case, it will be able to create a concept for you, to build a real unique brand identity, or create a new user experience and so on. We'll still need like designer to do those parts. And AI is only here to help you to fasten the part of it, which is on the production side. So if we look at the process today of our agency, for example, at Faber Novel, we have, like, I would say, 5 different steps. First step, about conception. Second step, about art direction. Third step, asset creation, and then production and feedback and delivery. So that's more or less how it works. And for the two first step, which is concept and art direction, on this step, AI cannot really help you, because it's not the AI who will define what type of art direction you should do. AI will, you can think that AI can bring you the concept, but it will be kind of like a shallow concept that cannot be really useful. And then after that, where it can really help a lot, it's on the asset creation. And as I show you, in only like 1 or 2 hours, you can have a diverse image that can be relevant for your project. And then after that, you have the production, when you need to realize the final asset that will need to be delivered to the client. And of course, on this part, it can also help you a lot. And then you need to, you have the conversation with client where we need to discuss together and have some feedback and do some modification. So yeah, here it's really like what's changed. It's, instead of to spend maybe 20 to 30% of our time on asset creation and production. Now it's only 10 to 15% for each of them, where we can have a chance to spend more time on the conception and art direction and discussing with clients and sharing and so on to be able to bring the project together. So one thing it's important is this tool, it's just a tool. We can learn the skills about them, but it will not like we are not becoming just a designer just by using this tool, but it will help us. What's matter when we use this tool is three different things. So first of all, is really to understand the topic and what we want to do with it. Secondly, we need to mastering the prompt and know exactly what are the capability of the prompt and how to use it. And thirdly, we also need to understand the brand. We need to understand how to leverage the AI to enhance the brand with it. Last slide about the process will be like kind of like a sum up of what are the pros and cons of using AI. So as I was mentioning before, there's a lot of advantage to do it. Specifically, it fastens the process, allow to have a diverse key visual, co-design with a client, and also it's allowed to reach a lot of different aesthetics that normally a designer cannot able to do, because as any designer, they are more specialized in one style or two. It's like if I take an like example with artists, Picasso has his own style, is not able to do a style of Andy Warhol or other artists, and here it's the same. But thanks to the AI, you can go over that. You don't need to masterize the style itself. You can just ask the AI to help you on that. But then you have some cons, which is, for example, we don't have any control on the layout. We don't have the control on the output as well, as I demonstrated previously. You can get some unwanted image, so you will need to try a lot to be able to achieve the results that you expect. And also you will need as well to still use Photoshop to polish the key visual, that the image that you get, and also most of the time the quality of the image itself will be not good enough for the print. That need to be taken into consideration. One last chapter that I wanted to see with you today will be about different examples that has been used in the industry, in the market, either by agency or either by brand. And by analyzing like some case studies that is, we spot out like three main categories. One category is about like how AI can improve the business. How AI, another category would be how AI can be used for campaign purpose. And a third case would be how AI can enhance the UGC content for brand. So if we are talking about AI for business, so by saying that actually this like can do kind of like two things. Either it will help you to increase your revenue, either it will help you to cut your cost actually. And on the case of Levi's, it will be more a case of cutting the cost, because they announced like 2 weeks ago that they will partnership with La La Land AI to generate a 3D model that you cannot see it in your eyes. That is actually a 3D, but so they will generate those one that allows them to not use fashion like real human model in the future. But this has one big advantage as well, is to allow to personalize the content based on the user, because now we can imagine that you can have for the same clothes like 20 different models based on the ethnicity and age and sex. For the same clothes, you can have like different ones. So the user can be much more close, can project itself to the model much more than currently. Another great example is this fashion brand Coperni. They actually leverage AI to create a pattern that they apply to one of their jackets. So on that case, it's how like the creativity can be used in the fashion industry, and actually the fashion industry is one of the industries that requires the most innovation. Because it's actually what the customer wants. Always they are looking for something that are pretty new and innovative, and here company like really succeed to do that. Another example, which is, for example, give me just 1 second, and let me play the video. So Movio, it's a Chinese startup that create a platform where you can generate very quickly a video banner for online. And as you can see, you can have a model and a video behind, and you can define the text that they will use, and also the language as well. They can speak in French, English, and any language. So it's allow you first to be much more faster to produce like a promotion video, first of all. Secondly, it's allow you as well to personalize the content based on the country and based on the user, because you can also personalize the script as well. Another example is, this is more like for the game industry, where this company, Naraka Blackpoint, they create some avatar based on the AI, and they produce as well some accessories. So by doing that, instead of use 3D, so very quickly they generate a lot of different AI, and they are now using them and selling them to their user. Here another example where this brand Sanctuary Guo. I hope my Chinese is good enough to understand. So actually, on that case, what they did is they use the AI not only to generate a visual, but to do the full branding, packaging, and the full strategy. So they use like Weixin, Young, and also ChatGPT to do everything. So in this, actually, that's one of the first examples doing that. But soon, it's a lot of agency or startup and so on will start to do that as well, because they can really leverage the full potential of the AI. So now let's show you, I would like to show you also a couple of examples, but more linked to campaign-wise and how we can leverage AI into for some visual or for some videos. And here you have the example of Martini that create a specific key visual based on the ingredients. So that can be, what is great is like, it can also in a way like propose you a huge range of key visual, where before you was like maybe restricting yourself for 2 or 3, and here they did I think 9 or even 10 key visuals. So which is much more, much more interesting. I really love this example, which is, so this one, it's for an NGO called Jamais sans elle, which is mean like never without her. And what is great is they actually like use the pain point that I was mentioning previously about how AI can be biased. And as you can see, they put like imagine a secretary or imagine CEO, and on both cases it's kind of like stereotype. You have on one case you have only women, on the other case you have only men, which is I like it this double level because that's actually what happened when you are using AI, and also it's kind of what happened in the society that most of the time SEO is represented by men and secretary is represented by women. So on that case, it's really nice what they play with it, with the tool itself, and also they are talking about the society. Another example is with Coca-Cola, that they create a video clip where actually you are in kind of like a museum, and the bottle, the Coca-Cola bottle across different painting and so on, and go on different scenery. And part of it actually they have been using AI to create this video, and that's one of the first example that doing that, and I'm sure that more and more will be able to see this kind of thing, and very quickly. What is great is like the AI, you can see it with this one with Munch, the cry from Munch, where Coca-Cola bottle is totally integrating into the painting, and that really enhances the possibility of creating asset and so on. Another example that use Midjourney is for this campaign IHG, sorry, where they create like several different rabbits that they use for the campaign, and they link it those assets into AR experience where you need to show your hand and the rabbit will be in your hand. So that's also a pretty cool experiences. Another one is for this movie, where actually it's funny because they wanted to propose for the same movie, they wanted to propose a different type of visual. So it's kind of like the same style, but in the same time, it's a bit different. And then we have another type that I was mentioning, and I really wanted to show you this type because I think this can have like really huge impact for brand. Because like, for example, on the case of cases, they actually leverage Midjourney to ask consumer to create some image about their chicken tender. So they ask everyone to say like, imagine delicious and crispy chicken tender for KFC, and based on that, they will generate a lot of image. And the idea was to kind of like hack the system and by as much customer as possible to bring into the platform so many visual about AI, because you have one part of it, it's a public part, and as you can see on the video, because you have so many users generate this type of image, suddenly everyone on the platform was saying only one thing, was chicken tender from KFC. So that's what actually kind of a really nice hack, how to leverage UGC content. When we are talking about UGC content and AI generated content, there's one thing that can be an issue, which is how to make sure that the content that you generate, that the user would generate, doesn't harm the brand, doesn't are against the policy of the brand. So here it's a really great example, and I have other later on about how to control a bit this. So for Quechua, so what they did is they actually like propose for the user different tags that they can play around, but it's only limited to those tags. So in any case, they control actually the output as well. That's in a way much more safe than if we was like if it was totally open to the public, because you as a brand you might have some as a result you might have some image that you don't want as a result. Another great example is and it's also another example of Coca-Cola, which is they are always very in advance about creativity and so on. So on this one, what they wanted to do and what they create their own platform. They use AI system based on DALL-E and ChatGPT, but they create their own one. So the big advantage of that is they can totally control the output and totally control what the user can do with it. So that's a big advantage of, first of all, showing that the creativity of the company, providing that like increase the brand awareness, and not also on the other hand damaging actually the reputation of the brand. And another example, which is Weixin with Lung and Weixin. So basically what they did is, it's really interesting, is there's this old painting, like 300 years old painting, that part of it has been burned. And they have this idea to actually leverage the AI to redesign the part is missing. So it was kind of like ask a different user, okay, draw the landscape that you think that it's the match the most with this landscape. And then you have a tremendous amount of results that share and so on. And on that case as well, they, in a way, they use AI in a very narrow way, but in a creative way, where they can control everything. But it's also enhance the brand itself, because it can show the value of the AI and how you can use it. And yeah, and this was actually the last example that I have today. And I would like to thank you all for listening me. And I hope that you learn a lot of things about AI today. And please feel free to contact me